Welcome back to another episode of The Breakdown on the Gamblers Grind podcast channel, whichever we're going to go with. I'm just a little sad right now. First of all, let me just apologize because I wasn't making the videos for you guys. I wanted you guys tuned up and ready for this upcoming Wimbledon tournament that's going to be happening because I got some bets coming for you for this. Hopefully, potentially, hopefully, see what happens this weekend. Because we're starting up on Monday. And it starts Monday? Yeah, it starts Monday. By the way, Wimbledon starts Monday, so follow the picks coming up. Today we have on the breakdown Teofimo Lopez defending his belt against Steve Clagett. What's his name? Clagett. Canadian guy, you know what I'm saying? So we'll talk a little bit about this. I got a few picks for this one. I'm not gonna lie though, like I said, the sadness I have, I am not feeling the most confident in this fight. All right, not feeling the most confident in this fight. So actually, if I was not betting this fight, I wouldn't put much money on this fight. Which I probably put a little money on this fight. I did a little research for it. And this would be one of the ones that I would probably stay away because it's a lot of questionables. Let me break it down to you in this, all right? All right? So, actually, yeah, I already closed that. Crap, I can't see that. So, basically, okay. Our good friend Teofimo Lopez, he has stepped up to the 140-pound division. He's been doing his thing, campaigning up there, doing some damage, dropping some people, you know. But he's not shining like he was in the 135 division. All right, so we had two people already. His last two fights. Two of his last two fights. Excuse me, because he fought 4 times now in the 140 division, right? 2 of his last 4 fights, he was fighting people who were stick boxers, like to run away and be a little more defensive natured. And that prevents a lot of his damaging outputs he does. He was unable to hit the proper combos like he normally does if you watch Teofimo Lopez fights, you know. He's typically really aggressive, very hard counterpuncher, drops people quite often. So that's where I'm actually a little hesitant on some of my potential picks going into this. I look at the numbers to see what justifies things. And right now, we're still looking at like 9:25 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. So things are still up there. Like I said, this is one of the reasons why we're not sure what's going to happen in this fight. We, as in the majority of the people in the sports betting realm, are expecting Teofimo Lopez to win this fight. Because the odds were for this was negative 1,200 for money line, which I'm leaning for that too. This is, by the way, like I said before about the bankroll, if you are have a higher bankroll, you're trying to make a certain amount of money, a certain amount of dollars, easy peasy, safely, money line should be the answer, cleanly. Because Steve Clagett was handpicked for Teofimo Lopez to get another, not a rush knocker offer fight, but just a confidence building fight before he fights another elite type guy. Considering he has a belt, you know, so he's number 4, number 5 in the mandatory department for him and his belt. So he's fighting him, right? So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna go a little breakdown for the information. So right now we're at Teofimo Lopez, obviously the young boy, 26, still developing into his prime body, priming people up, hitting their good hands, combinations, and doing most things, blah blah blah. We have what they call a journeyman, and Steve Clagett, age 35. So he's not necessarily 1 foot out the door, but he's looking off to the sunset and for his career as a boxer. Pro career record, 20-1 Teofimo Lopez. The 1 loss going to George Kambosos about 5 fights ago, give or take. And my man Steve Clagett at 38-7 with 2 draws. He lost a few times. He won a bunch. But that's majority. I'm gonna double check before I say this. but the last majority of his fights came out of the Canada. He fight in Canada, you know what I'm saying? So it's a little different up there. Not necessarily that it's different, but the competition he's fighting isn't necessarily the highest level. Let me see if I'll go through quick. I forgot to do this. If we got any good names for these guys. For under guys' belt. Because if so, that'd be great. That'd be great. So I'm gonna click my board right here, blah 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 blah. Need the most up-to-date information. So we have a boy, Marcos Barraza, last fight, Miguel Madueno, Carlos Sanchez, Alberto Machado, Rafael Guzman, Lugo. All these names are people that I have no clue about. Like nothing comes about. He has last loss at Teofimo Lopez about 7 matches ago. Yeah, and every name here is just people that I do not know or I've heard before. So he has no one under his belt that's viable of an issue in regards to being worth the time of benching, okay? And then going up to 2 weights. Actually, before I get to that. Wait for that. Oh, yeah, I'll get it right now. Knockouts. Teofimo Lopez, that was last 20 wins. He had 13 knockouts. The last 3 or 4 have gone decision. The last 3 have gone decision. And that is a little bit of a cause of concern. This is the reason why they handpicked this guy so he could just, go to work, get a good knockout, boost his confidence up. Is that going to be the case? Because going to that, like I was about to say, Steve has not been knocked out outside of 1 fight. Could this be number 2? And honestly, the way stylistically how things are maneuvering, I'm expecting it to be a knockdown, at least. Knockout, I'm not sure. Knockdown, yes. So actually, I'm a little hesitant to potentially put a trigger on that. I gotta look at the numbers, the odds at the time I make my place my bet to see if it's actually worth the while. Because like I said, this is actually interesting dynamic here. We have knockouts. 26 of Steve's wins were by knockout. 26 of 38. So he knocked people out too, but like I said, watching a little bit of history of his fights, his style of fighting is best way to describe it. It's a methodical beating, constant abuse to assault to your body. And a lot of his wins that he won were literally his opponent standing there like this, trying to turn and block and blah, 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 blah. But my man just going to work on a heavy bag. And that's exactly what happened. And he just keeps going to work, and after a while, you drop. You can't win a fight defensively, or you can't defend just being defensive like that, taking punches. You can't absorb punches like that. And that's how most of his fights win. Or the guy retires because he just can't take it. Because that's actually what happened. Like 2 fights ago, he is knocked out by that kind of situation. So, they're both same height, 5'8", reach 68.5 to 70. 70 is Steve at the low 1.5 inch of reach advantage. Okay, would that make a difference? Not here, not to the degree that you would think. They both won the last 5 fights. That seems a little wrong, but could be right. Seems a little wrong, but could be right. Let me double check this because I thought Teofimo last fight. Yeah, I mean, he just campaign has 4 fights up here in the winning department. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, no, exactly. That's exactly what I said. That was not accurate. So, his last 4 fights he won. His 5th fight, which is conveniently the Cambosis fight, he lost that. So, don't always believe what you see on TV, Poppy. But, other last fight though, the most dominant fight up so far in the division is a Josh Taylor fight. And he went to work my boy. Dropped him to some damage. If you guys didn't watch that, check it out. I need to watch it myself. Holly's still a lot though. He got a lot of work to my boy. A lot of work. I say he's a belt holder. By the way, they're both same right-handed orthodox, so that changes nothing. It's more of just a common fodder fight. Common fodder. Right hand. Jab hand's gonna be prominent with the power punch in the right. But inactivity, don't care about that. Don't care about years pro. There's some other random. This is the side I normally don't use for this information. I can't find another site. But either way, though, stylistically speaking, this fight is extremely advantageous for Teofimo Lopez. Extremely handpicked, just cherry, bloop, right there. That's what's supposed to happen. So, like, both these guys combined, they have had a bunch of decision matches. Teofimo Lopez, like I said, the last 3. Oh no, not in the last 3. Was it 5 of the last 3? Oh man, sometimes you gotta say things like that, you know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of his last 6 fights went to decision. All right. Even though he's still hitting people, dropping them, putting them down, 5 of his last 6 fights went to decision. Division. And the boy Steve, of his last fights, he had one guy quit on the stool. Decision. Okay, so we have 2 of the last 5 fights were decision. And 2 of those fights, well, 3 of them by knockout. 3 of them were by a knockout, like situation. 1 was TKO, the other 2 were the guy quit on the stool. Retired. That's the term actually I'm gonna use. But yeah, that right there. So, going into this, and like I said, everything screams this should be a long fight. In regards to the numbers, in regards to the information that's being displayed before us today. But I'm actually feeling not gambly, but I'm feeling quite defiant in regards to that. Because information-wise, like the way everything's set up, I don't, well, first and foremost, 1, Teofimo Lopez, unless he decides to do some crazy asinine shit, like David Cambosos, and just be unprepared for himself mentally, there is no way that he's going to stand in front of this guy and just try and block and let the guy just rail away at him. Because that's what he does. The guy just goes for it and just wills away at that point until he go down. And he wins that way. That's not going to be the case with Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez is going to be finding the right time, right spots for a knockout. And drop this guy as quick as possible. Everything screams that should be a decision. Everything screams it should go the distance. On top of that too, there has not been any situation where our boy Steve Clagett has not found himself being put down. He only been knocked down one time. Well, not knocked down, I guess I said. He only been knocked out one time. I can't verify directly how many times he's been downed in the fight. Technically speaking, though, Lopez been down a few times. Like even this here, 1, 2, and the last 6 fights, he's been down twice at least. Yeah, okay. So that's not too bad. But I wish I could find out. So there's a way I can find this out easier. Or at least I know where I'm looking at to find this information out. Because it actually matters a bunch. Just right now, we're trying to display this stuff. I don't know how many times our boy got knocked down. Or knocked down. I know how much he's been knocked out, but not knocked down. And that's what I'm trying to say, a quick find. Because therefore, what I want to say kind of harpens on that. I mean, it's so hard. These guys, the people, these pillow punchers. I was trying to say that because I know they're already hitting. But he hasn't been down in any of these fights recently. Because I don't feel like he has anyone. Wait. Nope. Here's one. We're going back a little bit, though. This is 2018. So I can't use information. So he has been down at least one time this past 10 fights. But that was so long ago, I really can't use that as viable information. as to what's happening, or the quality of his opponent, or his quality, and how defensive he was being. You know what I'm saying? So it's really hard to really gauge that one. So I can't use that one. So sorry about that. I do believe though that this is gonna be the fight that Steve Clagett is at least going to be knocked down once, maybe twice. That's I believe. So I'm leaning towards that. I feel like writing this down quick before I say anything, so I don't forget it myself. If it's plus money for 2 knockdowns against Steve, 2 plus knockdowns, I feel like using that and betting that, especially if it's like a plus 185. I might sprinkle a little something on that. Maybe half unit, maybe a unit. We'll see. I don't know. So I'm gonna put that down quick. It could actually be something I'm considering. But I don't know if you can be knocked out or not. That's the thing. Because right now they're expecting the knockout for Teofimo Lopez, because last I saw was like negative 160. And even though I am also envisioning that being the case, Teofimo Lopez in the past couple fights has not been dropping the boys and putting him out. He'd be in decision. And that's the issue I have. 2 of the last 4 fights though, the boys were running from him, so he couldn't really get the knockout. It's harder to get that way in when they're playing more defensive minded and counterpunching. Whereas Josh Taylor got that ass whooped, all right? Hit the ground a few times. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm leaning towards that. So let me start putting out these numbers here, these bets, these picks for you guys. I am definitely leaning towards, like I said, no one, money line, Teofimo Lopez. Unless he shows me otherwise, that this guy can just go toe-to-toe and just has the power to put him down, Teofimo Lopez is winning money line easy. That's the only one that I feel is like near guarantee. That's the lock. To cuff him up. He's going to jail, all right? That's that there. Because I'm leaning heavily right now against the grain in regards to this not being a split decision, I'm leaning the knockout. And it's going to be before 10.5 rounds. So under 10.5 rounds. That's what I'm looking at right now. Information. I'm looking up at the screen. There's literally nothing there at all aside from the information he said about the age and the knockouts and the height and that kind of stuff. I'm just looking over the direction where I'm spacing out over there, right? So like I said, right now, money line, knockout, Teofimo Lopez knockout, under 10.5 rounds. Those are the 3 that I am heavily leaning for you guys right now. I was looking at trying to figure out the most punches. I do believe Steve is going to have more punches again. But I don't foresee him actually landing more punches because Teofimo Lopez is going to be hitting more things out there in between punches. Teofimo Lopez is also quite aggressive as well too. But I don't believe that Steve is going to have the same impact they would have everyone else against Teofimo Lopez. So those are the picks for today. I have another one for myself I told you about a little bit ago. But moneyline, Teofimo, TKO, Teofimo, or knockout TKO, whatever it is. I mean, not whatever it is. We're going to the combined one. That's different than win by TKO or win by knockout. Those are separate things. So be careful with that. So knockout decision, knockout or TKO, Teofimo Lopez, under 10.5 rounds. Under 10.5 rounds. Most punches by Steve. Most punches thrown by Steve. Most punches landed by Teofimo Lopez. And then for me, like I said, I'm going to be hitting that +2 knockdowns against Steve before the fight's over. I'm going to be betting that too. If it's plus, like I said, plus 170, 180, I'm looking at that. The better it is, the more likely I'm going to put something on there. And there was something else I was thinking too. I'm not sure. That's the only other one. Like I said, those are 5 picks for the day, guys. Those are 5 picks for the day. Use the information. Like I said, the numbers saying that it should be split. The numbers say, sorry, it should be decision. The numbers say that it should be going over 2.5 rounds off of Teofimo Lopez's last contentious fights. But as I said, with what had happened, even with the boy Josh Taylor dropping the way he dropped, he didn't put him away. So everything is screaming it should be decision, victory by Teofimo Lopez. But the way Steve Clagett fights, I think this one, he's not going to last. So like I said, those are the picks. One more time for the road. Money line Teo, TKO, knockout Teo. Under 2.5 rounds. What's that? Most punches thrown by Steve. Most punches landed by Teofimo Lopez. Those are the picks. Let's go ahead and make this money tonight, guys. Happy gambling grinders. Make a wish. Out.